Houston. Houston, we have a problem. DJ Apollo has landed. I repeat, DJ Apollo has landed at Hitmix 88.9 WEIU.
Welcome to the Tales of Music and Film podcast. My name is DJ Apollo, or aka Christian Taylor, and thank you for listening to today's recording. Today, I'm actually going to be changing up things a little bit here. I'm going to be talking about another TV show. I have only talked about one TV show in the past, and it was the new Wednesday Addams show that's on Netflix, which has been greenlit for a season 2, so pretty excited to see that whenever it comes out. But just want to say, hope you're all having a very excellent day. Today is currently February 27, 2023. It's around 5:01 p.m. I'm actually getting an early start on recording today. Usually I start around 6, but I got out of production 4 pretty early, so here I am. So this is all working out for me because I hate having to be at the studio till like 8 o'clock at night. But other than that, the day's been going pretty well. Classes are going well. We are halfway through the semester, and yeah, everything's going well, at least for now. And man, I'll tell you what though, the weather today sucks. Like it's been raining all day. It's been super windy. Like, I actually had my hair, like, all styled up and ready to go today. And the minute I walk outside, the wind was like, so, that nice hair you just got done? Yeah, we're going to have to make some plans. Like, the wind just shows up, messes it up, makes it into a giant poof ball. So I had to go back to my upstairs to my dorm room and get my newsboy cap. So yeah, and the other thing is too, I walk outside thinking it's gonna be a little colder. You know, I got 3 layers of clothes on, and I'm like sweating. So I had to go back up again and change into some lighter clothes. So I got one of my t-shirts on with my jean jacket. I'm styling it up today. So, but this past weekend, I finally finished up watching a show with my friends Preston and Aidan, which you all know. They've been on the show millions of times before. The show that we watched together was The Boys, and they both had watched it already, but I haven't. And we've spent the last, I would say, month binging the show every weekend. It's currently only 3 seasons. Each season is about 8 episodes, and each episode is about an hour. And the show intrigued me so much that I wanted to do a recording talking about it, so here we are. So this will be pretty interesting. I got a list of points here that I'm going to talk about because I'm going to try to see if I can promote this show a little bit, because this show has some of the best storytelling that I've seen in quite a while. And the show really changed my whole way on how I view some shows. Now, I haven't watched a whole lot of TV shows growing up, or even now. My favorite TV shows of all time, it would have to be number 1, Smallville. Second place would have to be Breaking Bad. Third place, I'm putting The Boys. Fourth place would have to be, let's see here. Fourth place would have to be Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then 5th place would have to be The Wednesday Show. Those are my top 5 favorite shows right now, and I've seen others. I binged the entire Peaky Blinders show, which is around 6 seasons. That's a very good show too. But overall, I haven't watched that many. I have plans to watch others. I'm planning on watching Better Call Saul soon, and that show just wrapped up. I need to watch the Buffy the Vampire Slayer spinoff show, Angel, as well. But, I'm very picky on my TV shows that I watch, and I had some plans in the back of my head to watch The Boys, but I was never giving it a whole lot of thought. But the minute Preston and Aidan heard that I hadn't watched it yet, they started having me watch it instantly, and I'm glad they did. And now we are going to jump into the actual show here, and I'm going to start off by reading a plot synopsis that's going to be the theme of all the episodes. So it goes a little sudden like this. The plot. Superheroes are often as popular as celebrities, as influential as politicians, and sometimes even as revered as gods. But that's when they're using their powers for good. What happens when the heroes go rogue and start abusing their powers? When it's powerless against the super powerful, the boys head out on a heroic quest to expose the truth about the Seven and Vought, the multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that manages the superheroes and covers up their dirty secrets, based on the comic book series of the same name. And the show's comic book series was created by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. And I've seen some pictures of what the comic book series looks like, and it does not look that good at all. My friend Preston said he has read some of the comic book series, and the story is actually not that good. So this is one of those rare moments where the show actually upgrades, takes the concept and actually, gives it a big rewrite and makes it better. Like, the show gets better every season, and season 4 is currently being filmed right now. Preston actually informed me last weekend that apparently filming has wrapped. So I'm assuming we're probably going to see the show air its 4th season, probably by sometime next year, most likely. And now we are going to get into the main cast. Now, we have Anthony Starr, who plays the main bad superhero, Homelander. We have Carl Urban, who plays another main character called Butcher. We have Jack Quaid, who plays Huey Campbell, and he's one of my favorite characters in the show. And up next, we have Erin Moriarty, who plays another main character. She plays Starlight. And then up next, we have an actor who I'm kind of familiar with. His name we have Jensen Ackles, who plays Soldier Boy. We have Karen Fukuhara, who plays Kamiko, who is one of my favorite characters as well in this show. Her character is amazing. We have Tomer Capone, who plays Frenchie. And lastly, we have Laz Alonso as MM. And that's really the main lineup of characters that we follow. There are others, but those are the main ones that I wanted to name off. These are all the characters that really intrigued me the most out of the 3 seasons that we currently have. So now that's out of the way, the next thing I wanted to get into was continuing talking about the characters. So when you go into this show, you have to get the idea of just pure black and white, out of your head. Every single character in this show does bad things, because going into this show, everybody gets blood on their hands. There's no such thing as a good and a bad guy side. Not necessarily. Well, there kind of is, but if there's one thing that I had to learn very quickly is that you can't judge the characters off some of the horrible things that they do, because there's reason behind it. You have to this show really makes you think about a lot of things. It pokes fun at a lot of things that our society is currently dealing with in the modern world. For example, I'm not going to get into politics here, but Preston and Aidan helped me realize that season 2, for example, makes fun of a lot of the left, the Democrats, and how they view a lot of things. And in season 3, it makes fun of the Republicans in a way, if you pay attention. And I noticed in both seasons, it kind of pokes fun at the stuff they want to do, or that kind of stuff. And season 1 kind of pokes fun of, at the quote hero storyline. All 3 seasons do that. But the characters, sometimes it's hard to like them. It's just because it's one episode you like them, then the next episode you don't. It's kind of an on and off thing. Like I said, nobody in this is necessarily a good person. Even Starlight, who's literally the nicest person in the show, even she gets blood on her hands a few times. Like, nobody is squeaky clean in this. And it took me a long time now to come to terms with that, because this is really different compared to other shows that I've seen in the past. There is no just black and white in this. Like there is a lot of gray areas in this. I'm talking like this show holds the most gray that I've ever seen in a story, like ever. And it took me a long time to figure that out, you know? And to go back into the story a little bit more, so the boys is this team of guys who are, well, I mean, it's a team of people who are trying to bring down Vought. Like, Vought is supposed to be a representation, you know, of a giant multi-billion-dollar company that holds, like, so much power that it gets away with almost anything. Like, Vought is kind of like a representation of, like, you know, all these giant multi-million-dollar companies that we have today. Like, it could be, like, you know, the Disney Corporation. It could be anything, you know, but you know, that's the first example that came off my head. You know, it's just like how this company gets away with some I'm just the worst and atrocious things in all 3 seasons. It is a horrible, villainous place, and their heroes are, a good majority of their heroes are not good people. So you find out in season 1 that, you know, the show opens up. People think that heroes are born with powers, but you find out that's not the case. Like, Vought, what happens is they pay parents to let them have the kids when they're born, when they're like 6 months old or something. And Vought injects this serum into babies, and it gives them superpowers. It's called Compound V. And then when the heroes get old enough, they get recruited into joining Vought's superhero team called the Seven. And in the show, the current 7 team they have, they all represent a hero that we've seen. Like, Homelander is, you know, there is that world's version of Superman. We have the Deep, who is that world's version of Aquaman. We have Maeve, who is that world's version of Wonder Woman. And I guess Starlight in this world, she could be a version of Kara, who is Supergirl. And that's just to give you a few examples. Like, you know, the characters in this are kind of, you know, knockoffs of DC characters, which is fine. And all the heroes in this show are not necessarily good people, because what I like about this show is just like, okay, let's be honest here. In real life, if heroes like Superman or Spider-Man or, you know, or Green Lantern, you name it, if anybody in real life held that kind of power, they wouldn't be good people. Like, people, a good majority of people, you know, are not good. You know, they're narcissists. They're full of themselves. It's all a popularity contest. They just want attention. And this show does an amazing job of diving into that, because all the heroes, they're all just a bunch of wannabes. Like, they're not good people. All they care about is their status and their image. They only care about their product and their face. Like, they do everything they can to make themselves look good when the camera is rolling, but behind the scenes, they are horrible people. Like, for example, like, the show opens up with, so here's another 7 member. His name is A-Train, who is that world's version of the Flash, and he has, of course, fast powers. One of the first scenes we see in episode 1 is that one of our main characters, Huey, played by Jack Quaid, is on the street corner talking with his girlfriend. Then out of nowhere, A-Train comes running up and plows right through Huey's girlfriend, splatting her all over him. Like Huey and his girlfriend are on a street corner, right? They're just chit-chatting about Billy Joel, I think it is. And then out of nowhere, A-Train comes running in at full speed, and he runs right into her, and her body just disappears. Like, she just turns into red mist, and it just rains blood all over the road and all over Huey. and A-Train just keeps on running. Like, all the heroes have a huge, collateral damage list, and they're never held accountable for their actions. Like, all of them do really horrible things. Like, Homelander has murdered I don't know how many people throughout the years because the power has gotten to all of them, because this show dives into the fact no one should have this kind of power. It will corrupt you and turn you into a monster. No one should have that kind of power ever. And the show shows you why. And the boys are trying to do what they can, to destroy that team and bring down Va and show the world what a monstrous company they are. And it's really a cool concept. And the boys team, like, they're really interesting characters, our main character, Huey, I think he's supposed to represent like the normal everyday person that the viewer can relate to. And his journey throughout the first 3 seasons has been an incredible thing to see. And I love the relationship he has with Starlight. I love the connection they have, and they're one of the best couples for me on the show. And I just love the love between them, how it grows every season. It's really cool to watch. And the main guy in charge of the show, played by Carl Urban, his character's name is Butcher. Now, Butcher is a really hard character to like, because Butcher does a lot of evil things throughout the show, but you understand why he acts the way he does, and you understand why he does it. It's one of those things. It's like in Breaking Bad. You don't like what he does, but you understand why he does it, Like, the show does an amazing job showing you why the characters make the decisions they make. They're really awful, but you understand why they do it. And, all the other boy members, like, my favorite is MM. And Preston and Aidan have actually compared me to him the most, because MM is a really good guy. He's always the one that looks after the other team members, making sure that they're okay, asking how they are, making sure that they're coping well, that they're in a good mindset, because the jobs they do and the stuff they've had to do takes a toll on everybody, and he's just an all-around really good guy. And I can see why I was compared to him. Like, the way he acts, like, that's how I would be too if I was in that situation. Going back to Fetchy's character, played by Tamar Capone, I love Fetchy a lot, but I gotta be honest, in season 1, I wasn't sure what to think about him yet, because he was kind of like, I liked him sometimes, other times I didn't. Like, you understand that, like, all the members of the boys team are, like, they're good people. Even Butcher, like, deep down, he actually has a good side to him, and the friendship he forms with Huey really shows that. Like, he cares for his team, and he wants them to make it out. He doesn't make it easy, and Fetchy's a good guy, but he does make a lot of questionable decisions over the show's runtime. But by the end of season 3, I like him a lot. And a big reason that I like his character even more is the relationship he forms with the character of Kimiko, played by Karen Fukihara, which I mentioned earlier. Kimiko is introduced in season 1, and she is an amazing character. I love her growth as she goes through. Like, she's such a sweetheart. I love her so much. She's an incredible character, and Karen plays her so incredibly well. And I'm going to take a moment just to say right now, all the actresses and actors who play the characters in this, they all bring their A game. The performances in this show are breathtaking. I love it. This show has amazing acting, amazing story. It has everything you could ever want. And going back to Karen, like, Kimiko is an amazing character. Like, you have to watch the show for yourself to understand, but the relationship that Kimiko forms with Fetchy is so amazing to watch. Like, they go from hating each other to loving each other, and it's such a cool journey to see unfold. It's amazing. Now, the performances in this that really surprised me was Antony Starr's portrayal of Homelander. Now, dude, I can't even put into words how terrifying Homelander is, because this show is taking the concept, okay, what if Superman went evil and he just didn't give a crap about anything? You know, it's just like, in this show, all Homelander cares about is his image and how much people like him. I'm not kidding. That's all he cares about. He never has a real genuine connection with anyone, not even his own son necessarily. Like, all he cares about is his image, and he'll kill and do anything to keep his percentage numbers up on how much people like him. Like, dude, he is terrifying. Like, he was raised in a lab. He's not even a real person. He came from a test tube. They took DNA from another hero from a long time ago, and they used it to create him. He was raised in a lab, no real connections with anyone. He's just a science experiment, and he doesn't even know what his birthday is or what his real name is. The guy is a psychopath, and I'm telling you, each season he gets more and more crazy. And another performance in this show that really surprised me was Jensen Ackles' portrayal of Soldier Boy. So Soldier Boy is a character that gets mentioned once in season 2, and then he's a main character in season 3. And dude, I didn't think it was possible for me to dislike a character that Jensen plays, because I grew up watching the Supernatural show where he plays Dean Winchester, and I loved his character throughout all the seasons that I watched. And I've seen him I've seen them make like small appearances and other things. Like, I've always liked his character, so I thought it was impossible for him to play a character that I could hate. But here we are. Soldier Boy is just a terrible person. There's no other way to put it. And he's that world's version of like Captain America / the Winter Soldier. And Soldier Boy is terrible. He is just a straight up monster, just like Homelander. And dude, this guy just doesn't care. It's all about his popularity and image. Like, he'll kill anyone without a care in the world. Like, he'll murder anyone. Nothing is off the table for him. And like, he is just a monster, and he's extremely unlikable. It's like, no matter how much talking that I do, you would have to watch the show for yourself just to understand. And that goes back to the point that I was trying to talk about earlier. This show does a deconstruction on the whole hero story, and it brings it to a more realistic approach, because no one should have that kind of power. It would corrupt you instantly. Like, I'll never forget when we were watching season 3, like, I told Preston, like, if I had the option to get superpowers, I would say no, because I know it would corrupt me, and it's just not worth it. I already have superpowers. I don't need any more, you know? Like, I already have amazing powers. I don't need them. I don't need any more. And the next point that I want to get into, I would highly recommend waiting to watch this show until you're old enough. Like, I'm saying this right now, this show, nothing is off the table. There is a lot to watch in this. There is a lot of murder, sex, and that's just scratching the surface. Like, there is a crap ton of horrible things that you're going to see in this. Like, every season, you see very horrible things. Like, this show earned the R or the mature rating. Like, I'm saying this right now, like, be prepared. There is a lot of messed up stuff that happens in every season, and there's too many to count. And I'm not going to go into detail to keep this PG, but I'm just saying, just be prepared. Make sure, if you have kids, wait until they're asleep in bed before you watch this, because this show does not hold back in showing how violent and sexual it can be. It is nuts. I'm just putting a full warning on right now. And each season, the stakes just continue to get raised. It's like every single time, like, don't ever think for a second, okay, there's no way this show can get crazier, right? Yes, it can. Don't ever think that it can't get any crazier. It gets crazier, more messed up, and the stakes continue to get risen. And I even heard for season 4 that things are going to get even more violent. And I'm just like, how is that even possible? It's like, after everything the last 3 seasons have done, like, how on earth are you going to top what's already been done before? I mean, I just don't know. Like, the show has surprised me over and over again. So, like, can't wait to see how more messed up season 4 is going to be. And apparently the show is going to run for about 5 seasons, and I'm okay with that, honestly. Like, I often bring out the argument, I feel like a good show should run for at least 5 seasons. By the time you get to that point, you should probably be thinking about ending it or maybe continuing it a little further. Like, Smallville for me is the exception. Like, it was 10 seasons, but it did a really good job of taking its time of building up Clark Kent's story and watching him grow to be Superman. Like, Buffy only ran for 7 seasons. Breaking Bad was 5 seasons, and Angels 5 seasons. But you have to know when to end a show. And I feel like there are so many shows today that need to understand that. Like, you have Supernatural that ran for 15 seasons. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? That show should have ended after, like, seasons 10 or 11. Like, I quit watching after season 6, and I cannot bring myself to go back and watch it because, like, the first 5 seasons were masterpieces. And the show should have ended after season 5, in my opinion, because the first 5 seasons were incredible. Then you have, Grey's Anatomy, that's like on season 16 or something. And I just heard that the main actress who plays, the main girl is leaving the show. So it's like, okay, your lead is gone now. Why would you continue the show when almost your entire main cast is gone? Like, she's one of the last of the original lineup. Now that she's leaving, I think there's like, 1 or 2 original people from the show's main lineup of characters. You have to know when to end a show. And then you have NCIS. That's on season like 20 or something. The show's been on for 20 years, and it has all the original cast is gone. Like, I feel like, that's a clear sign, okay, maybe it's time we wrap this show up. It's like 20 years. That show has been on almost as long as I've been alive. Like, that's crazy. So like I said, just a few examples. It's kind of like a riddle rant there. I apologize. I just wanted to bring home, I was going to hammer home the point. It's like, you got to know when to end a show. And I'm very happy that The Boys is going to end after just 5 seasons. Because I want this show to end on a very high note. Because for me, it's like, I'll give you a prime example. Breaking Bad was only 62 episodes long, and it added up to 5 seasons. And it ended, you wanted more. It had such a perfect finale, and like, it had nothing else that needed to be told. It knew when to end. As long as you craft your show out in a really good way, then you have nothing to worry about. But this show overall is very incredible, and I highly recommend that you give it a try. This show has some of the most amazing writing I've ever seen, and it does an incredible job of you getting to like characters that do really horrible things, but they make up for it and they try to redeem themselves. Like, they make mistakes, they acknowledge it, and they keep moving forward. And I think that's a really, good, take, to do. So yeah, The Boys, I don't know what I would rank it, to be honest with you. I feel like overall I would give it like, maybe like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, but it's an amazing story. And out of the 3 seasons that we currently have, I feel like my favorite would definitely have to be season 3. season 3 I thought was a very good season because it had the highest stakes, I think, out of the 3 seasons. And season 1 was pretty tame. There wasn't anything like too messed up in it, not necessarily. And season 2 was... Now, here's another warning that I'm going to give as well. Like, season 2 is a very dark season. It's going to take a good... It took a lot out of me to get through that season. But all 3 seasons feature episodes that are really tough to get through, just because like how sad or how insane the story gets. But yeah, The Boys, amazing show. All 3 seasons I think are amazing. I recommend you give the show a watch, and I'm very excited for when season 4 arrives. So that's going to wrap it up for me talking about The Boys TV show. Hope you enjoyed this recording, and until next time, I'm DJ Apollo, and you are listening to the Tales of Music and Film.